Antoine Walker, and it is time
and published
for
author Jenna Wolf.
Performance, sponsored by Capital One. Did you write a book? What's in your wallet? Last night, LeBron and Anthony Davis led the Lakers to a crucial win over the Nuggets in their last game before the All-Star break. LeBron put up 32 points along with 12 boards, 14 dimes, giving him his 12th triple-double of the season. Tied with Luka now for the most in the NBA. After the game, the King was asked about where his head is entering the break.
LeBron, with you being injured last year, does that make you, with the not making the playoffs, do you feel more on a mission this year did that make you appreciate the game more, not playing last year and not being in the playoffs?
No, I don't need an injury to make me appreciate the game, but coming into this season, just very hungry, very enthused, very motivated on trying to put this team in position to be as successful as we can, and also at the end of the day, not ever skipping the process, and that's just my mindset.
Nick, what did last night's game tell you about playoff LeBron?
Yeah, I think that was the first game all year, and maybe his first game as a, as a Laker, where if you watch the video of it and you don't know what month we're in, you'd say, oh, that's definitely a playoff game. The way he was attacking, 29 field goal attempts, super high number for him. The way he was locked in, diving for loose balls, guarding Jokic late, controlling every aspect of the offense. I read that he got dressed like an hour and a half, or 80 minutes before the game, which is way earlier than he typically does. Everything about this was, he was treating last night like a playoff game. And in the playoffs, the only thing that's going to be different is instead of sitting for 11 and a half minutes, because he played 41 and a half, but there's overtime. So he played 36 and a half in regulation. Instead of sitting for 11 and a half minutes, he'll sit for 6 and a half or 7 minutes. And this is what you're going to get. Laker fans haven't seen playoff LeBron with their team. You are going to get 30-ish points if his shot isn't falling, like last night. 40 points if his shot is falling. Close to double-digit rebounds, double-digit assists, and a guy who controls every aspect of the offensive side of the ball with great defense in critical spots. To me, Antoine, he understood, even if he didn't want to acknowledge it, the importance of the game, given who they were playing right before the All-Star break, the seeding and the ability to really put a vice grip on that 1 seed. And he played and approached it like a playoff game. It's the first time I've seen him play like this since the NBA Finals his last year in Cleveland.
I think aggressive offensively, if you watch the first couple plays of the game, they were to the basket, got a steal. I think it was a loose ball. He pushes it full court, gets all the way to the basket, and one. So you can tell he's going to be very aggressive. I think this is the LeBron you need when you play the Clippers, and that's a whole nother subject. But I've said that early in the week. I think that he needs those 29 attempts and be aggressive. That's the LeBron that can possibly beat the Los Angeles Clippers down the line. But obviously LeBron is very focused. I thought obviously starting the season, you knew that he was going to be focused the way they jumped out to start the season, the way he did individually with his performances to get this team off to a good start, not waiting on the chemistry to get there, being the leader, being the aggressor, and kind of going out there and making sure Anthony Davis comes along with him. But one thing you got to think about, too, and kind of go back to what the reporter asked him. I mean, LeBron James should have a chip on his shoulder. He got hurt last year. He probably could have took that young group to the playoffs. How far they could have went, we don't know that. But we would have probably made the playoffs.
And people doubted him last
year. Yeah, and if he didn't get hurt. And LeBron's a competitor. He didn't go to L.A., for giggles. He came there because he knew the pressure that was going to be there to him to continue to play at a very, very high level. Obviously, to join an organization as a franchise like the Lakers, he knows it's going to be championship or bust. And he put that type of pressure on himself. So he's going to be focused. He knows he has a great young star next to him that can get it done with him night in and night out. That's why he wanted Anthony Davis. And he knows he's got to lead this group. And he's doing that every night by playing, first of all, not taking any nights off. And last night was an example. He's probably looking at the schedule. And I'm pretty sure, I'm not in the locker room or I'm not LeBron, but I'm pretty sure it's certain games, certain situations that he wants to see where he's at, see where the team's at. And I think last night was one of that. I think it was very important for him to finish with a 3-game winning streak, to take a 4-5-game lead on these teams so he could feel comfortable going into All-Star break and enjoy Chicago.
I think it was funny that you said he didn't come to L.A. for giggles, because it would be funny if he was like, well, I'm obviously here for the giggles first.
Yeah. I want to use profanity, but I was like,
no, giggle. I'm here for the giggles and then also to win. To your point, LeBron even said after the game, I'm treating this as a playoff prep. Like, he knew it.
Oh, okay.
So,
I didn't hear that.
My question to you would be, do you remember him being this dialed in before the break, this focused before the All-Star break?
Well, I think I said while I was talking, I said this is the first time the Lakers have seen it. I actually almost wanted to draw that back. I think it might be the second time. I think the other time we've seen him in a Laker uniform treat a regular season game like a playoff game was the day he tore his groin. Christmas Day against the Warriors. That Lakers team, if you remember, they were talking about a year ago, Christmas Day, what was, I think, third place in the West. They're up against the KD Warriors, the Lakers, and Lakers were playing great in that game, and they ended up winning it even after he tore his groin. But you saw a similar mentality of, now I think that was who they were playing, and it's Christmas. He has a responsibility to the league to deliver a good performance on Christmas, because for a lot of people, that's the opening of the season. But I think this was the opponent. This was what Antoine's saying about finishing before the break on a winning streak. And I also think it was, he knew if he came out and treated this like just any other game, some of his teammates might treat it like it was less than any other game because it's the last game before the break. But the Lakers took 93 shots. LeBron and Anthony Davis took 52 of them. The rest of the team took 41. The Lakers scored 120. LeBron and Anthony Davis scored 65 of them. So the rest of the team scored 55. Like, that is going to be what happens in the postseason. Everyone says during the regular season, I hear it all the time, why didn't LeBron attack more? Why isn't he more aggressive? He knows what he's doing. And in the playoffs, he will still very often defer early and see if other guys get their rhythm. But in the critical spots, he takes over. It looked to me like a playoff game last night for him, and he played like one.
Yeah, and look at the end of the game in overtime. He wanted the ball in his hands. He not scored the bucket, but he made the correct pass both times to Anthony Davis for wide open threes. Obviously, in the regulation, he takes the last shot.
Yep.
He wasn't deferring
and started
anybody.
the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
He scored or assisted all 13 points start the quarter, and then he went to the bench, and they lost the lead before they had to have the late comeback. It to me was a reminder. When I said all year long, we are going to see the best version of LeBron that we've seen in 2 years here once the playoffs begin, last night was further validation of that, because I thought it wasn't the most points he scored in a game this year, wasn't the most assists he's had in a game this year, wasn't his highest field goal percentage. I thought it was the most in control of a game we've maybe seen him in all year, given the competition, given the stakes of the game, and I thought he treated it like a playoff game, and the result went accordingly.
You know why I'm here?
Right.
For the giggles.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh,
Jen has
go
been
at me.
legitimately funny today.
Understood.
You gonna go at me like that?
Go at you like that?
Yeah.
You couldn't think of the word. Of course, that's what he does to me all the time. Have you met us? Coming up, are the Cowboys making a mistake with Dak Prescott? That's next. This is First Things First. No, we love you.